Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the latest Infinite Dragon Ball history to come to DBZ Dokkan Battle, and that is featuring basically the, Super Saiyans Infinite Dragon Ball history stage. Now there's two major category missions for this Super Saiyans Infinite Dragon Ball history stage, and that is to have 3 Gifted Warriors category units and 3 Super Saiyans units. So it's nothing too crazy. Honestly speaking, it's pretty accessible for the most part, because the thing is these Infinite Dragon Ball histories are not necessarily the hardest in terms of content. They're pretty good, they're pretty enjoyable, they're pretty fun, but they're not necessarily anything too wild. They're not like something that's incredibly super duper difficult, although they are at an enjoyable level of difficulty. At least I think so. So yeah, overall it's definitely something that I find enjoyable to a certain extent, and I think a lot of players will probably find so as well. Now in terms of this one, we've gone for a Pure Saiyans lead with Physical Vegeta, but he is also a Super Class lead, so that's going to enable us to use the 2 free-to-play units in the form of the AGL Trunks Super Saiyan and the Physical Goten Super Saiyan. Now both of these units benefit a lot from having each other on rotation, and we're going to make sure that we have the 2 of them kind of sharing a rotation together at all times. That's going to be quite important. So you want to make sure you have the 2 of them in rotation. Trunks is going to be a bit of a better tank than Goten, but you can use Goten at certain times. Just depends on his level of, trust in his evasion. But overall, he and Trunks make a pretty solid pairing, so we'll definitely be running them together. We're then going to have the Super Strength Vegeta floating at some point. Super Strength Vegeta is also, again, quite a reliable unit. Pretty solid for the most part, quite good in a lot of scenarios, in a lot of good situations. Just a strong option that players can consider using for the most part across the board. So highly suggest you give him a try. A good damage dealer with decent defense after super, and just another unit that has pretty good vouching for being just a solid option on this team. Next we do have, of course, the Int Super Saiyan Vegeta. So that is the Android Cell Saga Vegeta, the one that, or Super Vegeta I should say, has a pretty nice EZA. Obviously, technically speaking, a little bit better if we're facing Android units or units of that like, but generally speaking, still pretty good across the board. Honestly, just an incredibly solid option. Realistically, a very nice unit to kind of run, and a unit that for me runs super smoothly. So very easy to use, no build-up required, and just nice to kind of float in and out, running along the teams and kind of doing his thing, which I think for the most part is kind of what you want when you discuss units like Int Vegeta. So yeah, he's going to be kind of doing his own thing, and then alongside that we have the, of course, leader of our team, the Physical Transforming Vegeta, and he's going to be paired up with the Friend Tech Vegeta. So the Friend Tech Vegeta is going to be pretty solid. Obviously a Super Saiyans and Vegeta's family lead, so he does cover all of our units pretty nicely, and he's going to be the rock upon which we build this team. Letting him build up a little bit in the beginning. We don't need to let him build up too much. He doesn't need his full array of insane defense here. He's just going to be pretty solid across the board, and we're going to essentially let him just kind of do his thing. We'll probably run him, let's say, for 3 turns to stack, and then we'll move on and transform him, letting him just kind of do a significant chunk of damage. So pretty good stuff from this Vegeta. I do like him a lot. I think he runs very smoothly, and he's going to be the rock for this team. Just incredibly reliable, very, very solid, and alongside Physical Transforming Vegeta, they share a lot of good links, and just in general pretty good. Now, as you go along throughout the event, the units are going to slowly build up their resistances. So immune to stunning, immune to sealing, immune to attack lowering, defense lowering. All of these things are going to eventually kick in for these guys. So definitely something I would say you can consider kind of building around. No need to bring sealing or stunning or anything like that. It's just not going to be as useful as it would be in other events. So you don't need to worry about it too much. Now, in terms of like the, I guess, general team build, I think for the most part, these rotations work nicely. The floating units tend to perform quite well in their position as floaters. These Tech, Super Saiyan Broly, and Super Saiyan Trunks do a great job floating. They've got their active skill, which we can really use for some good cheap damage. The big thing is, at the end of the day, there is a challenge for beating this event in 14 phases, and that can be a little bit tricky. The reason being is, it does depend a lot on, I want to say, the consistency with your damage and how early you can get that Goten and Trunks to link up, because when they don't link up, they do no damage. So if you can't link them up early enough, you tend to not get enough damage. But the Vegeta rotation tends to do a lot of good work. So the Vegeta rotation is what I would generally say is probably the better rotation, just in terms of overall strength and ability. I think the Vegeta rotation really works nicely and does a lot of the hard lifting. So that Tech Vegeta and Physical Vegeta, all of that coming together works really, really nicely, and the team tends to really function well from the perspective of using that lineup to really, really dominate. I think, aside from that, obviously you can build a team however you want. There's plenty of great options across the board, but I think this team is probably the, at least I find, nicest team. We got some good accessibility with a lot of free-to-play units incorporated here, and it only really requires us to use Physical Transforming Vegeta, who's a pretty accessible summonable unit. So yeah, really, really, really proud of this team. I think it worked super duper nicely, and I was very happy with it. I think across the board wasn't a team that gave me any issues, ran super smoothly, and I had to use a little bit of items near the end just to secure the victory, but generally speaking it was a pretty smooth run. Obviously if you switched out Goten and Trunks, you could probably easily do this with no item. There's definitely better Super Saiyan options, but I think for me it was nice to incorporate them. I think it was cool to showcase some different options, and I think they showed that they can do a decent level of content here. Like I said, this isn't the hardest content in the world, but it is still nice to see units doing this content and really just kind of having a good time with the content. At least that's for me. I think in terms of just general kind of team performance. In terms of replacements, obviously Tech LR Goku springs to mind, Int LR SS Trio springs to mind, AGL LR SS Goku springs to mind. I mean, there's plenty of solid replacements for all of these units, except for maybe obviously the friend Tech Vegeta, who's obviously just an absolute beast and will do pretty much all of the heavy lifting for you. So yeah, I think for me was definitely a fun run, if anything else, and I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed using this team. I think for me, when you look at Infinite Dragon Ball history, it's kind of that mid-tier of content. It's not necessarily super duper hard, it's not necessarily super duper easy. You need to have decent teams, decent kind of everything, but you don't necessarily need to have insane teams. You don't need to have the best teams in the game. You don't even need to have like red zone ready rosters, but you do need to have a team that functions well, is consistent, has good links, and has some decent utility and defensive security. I think the Infinite Dragon Ball histories are just a really fun way to kind of view units and engage with units and just kind of have a good time, and not really get too like bogged down. You have a little bit more accessibility in terms of like the units you use and the teams you build with them, and I think that's really cool, and I think that's something that's really, really awesome. So yeah, I really enjoyed I just really enjoyed kind of running this team, and I enjoyed really making like this combination of units. I think it was a really cool time. If you are struggling, of course, you can use items a bit early on, especially from the damage side. You know, a Bulma item does help out. That 25% attack increase for 5 turns is really cool, and does help out a lot when it comes to like, you know, flat performance in terms of raw offense. Just helps you push through the phases a little bit faster, and I think that's really something that works out really nicely. So yeah, honestly, that's pretty much it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and yeah, as always, thanks for watching. I think, you know, overall it's always cool to get an IDBH. They are also a great source of stones, so if you are someone who has never done them before or has a whole bunch remaining, and know that you have a ton of stones remaining, and yeah, look forward to obviously grabbing them as well. But that's essentially going to be it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, take care, stay safe, and yeah, that's basically going to be it from me. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, as always, thanks for watching, take care, and bye.